Today we'll be checking out the towns of Wilton, Temple, and Peterborough, New Hampshire. Hello everyone. We decided to venture a little ways from home. We are in Wilton, New Hampshire right now. This whole area is kind of like the western, central, south part of New Hampshire. We are not east by the seacoast where we live, but we're not all the way west out in Keene yet, so kind of more middle, but the Massachusetts border isn't super far either, so just to give you an idea. And lots of cute little mill towns here, like this one. We're gonna go see what's going on. So, you know, it's just a small town. Couple little shops and things, old mill buildings. The river runs right behind here. The Souhegan River. This is a nice area. So there's like Amherst, Milford, Mount Vernon, Wilton, which is this, then it goes Peterborough, and then you get into Keene in different areas, and then you're in western New Hampshire. But when we first came here, we almost bought a house in Mount Vernon nearby. Oh, and there's New Boston. They're really nice. They're actually villages. It's a nice area. I'm glad we didn't, because you kind of really almost too far away from everything, and we like living on the seacoast. I'm kind of a beach girl, but it is a really, I mean, look at this, like really, really pretty area. It's very green, and it has a different feel. You know, there's a different vibe in this part of New Hampshire, but I still really enjoy coming to visit. It's really beautiful in the winter too. It's like a winter wonderland, so, which it is definitely not today, although, you know, it's actually not that bad out. I'd say it's probably 80 degrees. It is humid, but not death-defyingly so. And just to give you a little perspective, we're like an hour from the beach, further from Boston, further from like a lot of more accessible areas. So some things you always have in little New Hampshire towns: a candy store, antique stores, sometimes a country store. There's always a Dunkin' Donuts somewhere nearby off whatever the main road or highway is. We passed several on the way in, so that held true. The other thing that New England loves is ice cream, which I don't see any ice cream here, but most towns have ice cream shops, or there'll be ice cream. We did pass ice cream on the way, to be fair. So our other son is actually living in Washington State right now for work, and talking to him last night, he was remarking on how it's so weird that, you know, ice cream is not as much of a thing there, because it's definitely very much a thing in the Northeast. It's a thing that I can get used to. And now for the actual reason that we came to Wilton today. This is Fry's Measure Mill. We have been here once before a couple of years ago and thought that it was really cool and wanted to come back. So this actually has the designation of being a historic landmark. And they have been making colonial style, shaker style, handmade boxes since the mid 19th century, and they still make them today in the old way, right here in this beautiful mill. And it's just so scenic and cool and unique, and we wanted to revisit it and thought that it was something that you guys might want to see as well. And this was just a couple miles up from town where we were before. The boxes that they make are highly prized and collectible. People come from all over to collect them. It's a whole thing. People who have sort of colonial houses and businesses know about them too and collect them. People who are just into primitive art and style collect them, and you'll see they're really beautiful. See, they make these really beautiful, high quality colonial shaker style boxes. And the reason that I say they're shaker style is because it is in the style of shaker woodworking. Now, shakers believed in symmetry and things being simple, so that's kind of the style that they adopted. There are actually some shaker villages in the area as well, and that influence, even if people weren't shaker, the influence of their style has gone on to inspire generations of other people, and for the practicality and beauty and quality of the items that they make. They also have other primitive style things for sale, as well as antiques and other fun little pieces here in this historic building. Love these. That is so cool. Really, really beautiful. What a fun gift. I mean, they're really heirlooms. Beautiful. I mean, there's just a whole vibe in here. It's an early American vibe that's really fun. So this is a shingle mill, patented in 1878 by Lane Manufacturing Company of Montpelier, Vermont. That's the capital of Vermont. This shingle mill could cut wood shingles in lengths ranging from 10 to 18 inches. All the pine shingles in the mill were cut on this machine. Okay, so this is for the actual making of the building, the mill itself. You know. You can see I am not a woodworking expert by any means. I can just appreciate beautiful things. And I guess I'm learning some things right along with you guys. Beautiful. So we found some really good information here. Daniel Cregan, at 21, purchased the building and began manufacturing knife trays and toys, meeting with various success. The beginnings today are the story of Fry's measure mill. Daniel Cregan went on to invent water-powered machinery for manufacturing. Okay, that's huge. For the rest of his life, made ship wooden dry measures all around country by clipper ship Cape Horn to California during the gold rush years. See, it's amazing. That's the thing, traveling America, going to small towns and checking out stuff like this that's, you know, obviously not a tourist trap. People aren't lined up to get in, but you find such neat things and stories that connect all of us, and that's the stuff that I love. The only remaining measure mill in the country. Like, this is amazing. Only remaining measure mill, and it's right here in little Wilton, New Hampshire. That's so cool. And here is a set from between 1910 and 1930. An original set. That's very cool. They don't make them like that anymore. It's a little nicer than the plastic tubs that I buy from Home Goods to hold flour and sugar and cereal and things like that. They probably won't last, but look at it, these so far standing the test of time. And here's a little more information. So during the summer, open daily 11 to 4, and all proceeds for admission do go to the mill itself and the upkeep of it, and they just kind of let you walk through and look at everything. So I think worth a stop for such a cool piece of history, and really a time capsule. Very, very, very colonial, very New England. Colonial style, I should say. This is from the 1830s, but it was kind of that colonial revival time. And you could pick up a beautiful box or a fun antique. And even if not, it's just fun to soak up the environment. And here are some examples of those shingles we talked about. The method developed in Mount Peleor, Vermont. Neato. Down the road from where we just were, now we're in Temple, New Hampshire at Ben's Sugar Shack. So one thing you're gonna find out about us is that we love maple and we love Maple Weekend. You guys just wait for April when it's Maple Weekend and my husband comes up with spreadsheets and a map and a plan, and we go all over New England to maple sugar shacks, and we like to patronize the small family farms. But in the off season, it's fun to come to a larger place like this. I know that Ben himself, he's a younger guy, and he's kind of started this local New Hampshire maple empire sort of here. He's got these big, beautiful stores and lots and lots of maple-y goodness merchandise-wise. So we actually haven't been here before. Let's go and check. All right, yep. So lots and lots of farm fresh things and maple everything. So we like local honey, maple cotton candy is so good. They've got a full deli, ice cream. Okay, here we go. With all the maple goodness you can imagine, these are really good. They're like a cross between Scottish tablet, if you've ever had that, and fudge, but they're just pure maple. Yep, sir, everything you can imagine. Lots of yummy stuff. I'm sure we'll be bringing home. We do not by any means need just maple syrup right now. We have a large stockpile that will last us through the year. We bought tons and tons of maple syrup, helping out local farms and the state of New Hampshire's maple growers this last season, but you never know what other fun, like maple cream is delicious and maple sherbet, things like that. So we'll see what happens here, but everything's looking yummy to me and I am hungry. Lots of cute things like this New Hampshire themed tic-tac-toe. Love it, that's adorable. Lots of gifts along with food. It's really awesome that they showcase a lot of local products, things from New England, I'm noticing, which is great. Oh yeah, this is making me hungrier and hungrier. I think I'm gonna get a sandwich. The thing about maple is it's low in the glycemic index, so it's better to digest. It doesn't spike blood sugar the way that regular sugar does. And for those of us with some gastrointestinal problems, maybe you're on a low FODMAP diet like I am, or have something else going on, maple is a great sweetener because it's natural, easily digestible, and good for you. Actually has minerals in it as well, so I'm kind of a maple expert if you didn't know. And the way it works with a place like Ben's is he has some trees that he taps, but mostly it's other people tapping the trees and giving him the maple and working out a deal so that he turns his maple into all of these delicious products that you see. So he's not just one small farm, which is perfectly fine. I mean, it's all still local, and I'm sure, you know, he vets very well where he's getting his maple from, but yeah, just to kind of put into perspective here, because this is a rather large operation. Some of them are small, just, you know, families making it on their property. Some people have large families making large operations, but this is a really big operation. So yeah, I mean, like you can even buy Ben's at the grocery store here. So that's the scoop on that. 1830 earlier. Apparently Fry's measure mill is 1858 according to this nifty postcard. So there's that. Now during Maple Weekend, this place I imagine would be insanity, but look at, they even sell supplies for people who have home maple taps. Here's all the stuff you need, the bottles, the flasks, and look, they even have tubing. Super cool. So I learned a minute ago that Ben has Was it 28,000 taps?
28,000.
28,000 taps. The dude's an entrepreneur. Good for him. It's amazing. I mean, and he does help out the community, and it benefits all of New Hampshire, so good on him. I think it's cool. There's a little video playing about when they built this place. I think it's great. Really nice facility, and my sandwich was delicious. So, did you know all these states make maple syrup? Wisconsin, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. And Canada is actually the world's largest producer of maple syrup. Vermont is second, and then kind of everybody else. But yeah, I think it's so cool. It's a fun local thing. Again, supports local businesses, and it's good for you, and it is darn delicious. So why not? Now we are in Peterborough, New Hampshire, and we are smack dab in the middle of the state, but south, but right in the middle. So we live on the coast the other side. We were kind of working our way. Now we're in the middle. You would work your way down and eventually get to Keene and then the Vermont border. So just to give you a little perspective on where we're at. Got a classic diner over here, and we'll kind of work our way back up and around. It is very hot now. It was nice before. I think part of the reason it was nicer before too is because we were on the river. Now we are not on the river, we're just inland, and it is warm, warm, warm. But this is a really, really darling town, and prospering. You guys remember what I said about ice cream? Yep. This place has really good reviews, so let's find out first. Okay, so here's what we're working with, and I'm excited because it is dairy-free Italian ice, which is awesome and a little more hard to find, and I'm excited. Oh, that looks so good. Java chips, so it's like the ice with soft serve ice cream and chips. Now, during the 19th century, Peterborough, New Hampshire was a thriving hub for textile mills. I feel like I've been saying that a lot lately about a lot of places I've gone, but this place was really, really thriving. There were several mills in town. A lot of the buildings that are repurposed, once again, and doing anything they do, which I think is awesome, is reusing the old mill buildings for modern purposes, which they've done here in a very thriving upscale sort of a little town. There's also several granite quarries around, or there was several granite quarries around, so lots of work in this area, so it never really fell by the wayside. The town has always been sort of booming, and now it's just a really nice place kind of here in the middle of New Hampshire to come and visit. Also, the 1938 novel Our Town by Thornton Wilder is based on Peterborough right here, so when it has that kind of our town feel, that's because this is the real thing. This is it. This is beautiful small town America on display, and it inspired the novel. So here we've got a really nice memorial in honor of the men and women of Peterborough who served their country in World War II. Look at how many names. And we have other wars here. I see Vietnam. Here's horrible, horrible. The war to end all wars, but it wasn't, was it? Huh. Beautiful. And we've got French and Indian War and Rev War. There's a lot of names on these lists. A lot of loss for a small town. This would have been a large member of the population. This beautiful home is part of the original mill. So I don't know if the operator of the mill, the owner, the manager, I don't know if he lived in this house or if it was just for other senior workers. Not really sure, but it's really nice. This would have all been mill land. Like I said, a lot of mills in this one town. These people worked hard and they worked long hours. Some mills, people were treated better than others. I know that Samuel Slater of Webster, Massachusetts, really revolutionized things because of the way that he treated his mill workers. He was a very, very prosperous man and decided from the get-go that his people were going to be taken care of, educated, have fair wages. The work was still hard, don't get me wrong, but they lived in better conditions than some places. You have to remember that during the Industrial Revolution, mills really built this country, and the people that worked in them worked hard, often under really bad circumstances. You would have had children working in them, and it wasn't until Theodore Roosevelt that a lot of the rules were changed to be more humane. Just one of the millions of things that I love about TR. But he did change the way that mills had to treat their people. You're always gonna have people at the top, but what is the place without the workers, right? So I think it's a good thing that they didn't have like 12-year-olds working in 115-degree buildings 24 hours a day, things like that. I mean, some of the conditions were really rough. I have heard that in New England it was different. It's big cities, it was very taxing. Places like New York and Chicago, it was no joke, not for the faint of heart. But, and again, not to say that it wasn't always easy in New England. It wasn't. It was hard. They were hard workers, but some situations were better than others. So apparently we are still on a river, just not the bustling kind that keeps you cool enough to notice. And where there is a mill, there is a water source to cool it. So that is what we have here. It is a beautiful, idyllic town. Here's something else noteworthy. Site of the first marionette opera in the United States. Marionettes creep me out a little, truth be told, but they're cool, I guess. So you never know what you'll find driving around. There's so many little treasures to be found everywhere. You just gotta look for them and take the time to kind of slow down and read and notice, and you'll end up meeting the nicest people and learning some cool things and finding little hidden gems. That's why I love going on these adventures and just getting in the car and seeing where things take us. I'm that history chick, and of course, like Patrick Henry, I know no way of judging the future but by the past. I hope you enjoyed. Share, subscribe, please do all those things. It'd be really great. Appreciate it, and we will see you on the next adventure.